大家好，好久不见了. Hello everyone, long time no see. Matthew here, coming straight at you from Shanghai, China. If you like my videos about China, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my humble channel. Several new videos are already in the pipeline. Also, if you have questions about my life in China or China in general, leave them in the comments below or send me a message. I've been collecting user questions and will start integrating them into my upcoming videos. My apologies for the delay in recent news videos. School has been keeping me more than busy, and frankly speaking, I've been really upset about the state of the world and extremely disappointed by the situation in the United States. Those two things have prevented me from producing any videos. In this video, I'm going to make a short PSA, share my China milestones with you, and as you can see from the title of this video, share the surprise COVID-19 test that the school subjected us to. PSA. My originally scripted PSA was 550 words. For the sake of being bearable, I've decided to summarize and condense my thoughts. The US is failing, and failing hard at managing the pandemic. The numbers that are coming out now are even higher than the original huge spike in March, comparing about 30,000 new cases a day then to about 46,000 new cases a day now. Here's a screenshot from June 30th's figures. Simply appalling. I am begging people to try. Make an effort to slow this thing down. Many people are trying, and that's great. But many more of us need to be trying. You can't go about your everyday life in the same way. You have to adapt and do your part to slow it down. This is not about individuals. It's about protecting society as a whole, especially vulnerable populations. The easiest, simplest, cheapest thing you can do is wear a mask. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. The countries that have managed this pandemic well have all been mask-wearing countries. Wearing a mask is not a political statement. It's simply good hygiene. If you cannot physically distance, wear a mask. If you're inside a store, wear a mask. If you're on public transportation, wear a mask. You simply must do it, period. Remember, masks serve 3 essential purposes. They protect others from getting infected from you. They protect you from getting infected from others. If you get infected, masks reduce the initial inoculum virus load. Would you rather your immune system fight off a huge virus load or a small virus load? Don't be selfish. Make a small daily change. Proudly wear a mask and know that you are helping not only vulnerable populations, but you're helping to protect the population in general, all of us. Okay, PSA over. This has been weighing very heavily on me, and I really needed to get that off my chest. Okay, China milestones. I've been in China for a full 6 months, half a year now. Tomorrow starts my 7th month in this country. Holy cow, has the time flown. Despite the outbreak of the pandemic, I've been able to make a lot of progress in adapting myself to Chinese life. Milestone number 1. It took me until April, but I was finally able to open a bank account. During the height of the pandemic, my paperwork was locked up in the school and no one was allowed to go inside and fetch it. Otherwise, it would have taken me just 1 month. Having a bank account is a game changer, not only for direct deposit of my paycheck, but because it lets me do digital and online purchases. Almost no one here uses cash. 99% or more of all transactions are digital. QR code payment. It's hard to see. This is a QR code, and at the store, boop, they just scan it and it goes through. And a bank account is a prerequisite for that. I'll be making a separate episode about the popularity, ease, and convenience of digital payments in China. Milestone number 2. All of my Chinese documents that allow me to work and live here have processed correctly. Phew. I arrived in China on a tourist visa and quickly had to start working towards a work permit. After a few weeks, I was able to secure the work permit, and after a few months, I was able to secure my residency permit. There we go. Should probably cover up the numbers, but the light's not very good. Okay. This one is valid for about 3 seasons, so this winter I'll need to start the renewal process. Milestone number 3. I survived a pandemic lockdown in a major Chinese city. During the heart of the first wave, I stayed inside at my girlfriend's house for nearly 6 weeks. Anytime there was a package delivery or her parents bought fresh groceries, we disinfected everything before we brought it into the house. Anytime we went out into public, it was taking the loneliest stretch of sidewalk, the emptiest subway car, the restaurant with the fewest people in it. All non-essential trips were canceled. If we didn't need to go out, we didn't. We wore face masks at all times and paid close attention to our personal hygiene. Milestone number 4. I also survived my first semester at school. It was already somewhat chaotic for me to start my new job in January, halfway through the school year, but it was absolute craziness to start my new job on the eve of a global pandemic. No sooner had I received some sort of orientation and done my first lesson observations, and it was the once in 100 years pandemic. I met my students online. I taught my first 2 months of classes online. I proctored my first midterm exam online. Once we were back on the school grounds, we had many new rules and procedures to follow to keep students and faculty safe from potential infection, most of which we are still carrying out. In summary, it's been an absolutely unexpected and unimaginable first semester, first half year in China. But I survived, and I even enjoyed a lot of it. I really look forward for things to return to normal so I can actually start getting to know China. COVID-19 test. In order to get our school ready for reopening, all the faculty had to get a COVID-19 test. I called it a surprise test because the school sent us a poorly worded and confusing email the day before stating that some teachers may need to be tested. A follow-up message from a colleague the morning of, clarified that all of us were subject to the test. I was more than willing to get tested. I just wanted to be informed in a professional way. Anyway, the rest of the morning went very smoothly. This was April 30th, by the way. The school rented a bus to take us from school to the testing location. I was sort of in a bad mood on the way there, hence this emo selfie. The testing location itself was a sort of field hospital that had been set up on a basketball court next to a nearby hospital. There was tape on the ground in 6-foot intervals so we could maintain physical distancing while waiting to register. Here is some signage that explains the whole deal. The sign on the left says 登记点, or registration point. The sign on the right explains all the steps to go through. Summarizing, number 1, register. Number 2, retrieve the vials, or test tubes. Number 3, go to the testing tents. Number 4, have the 2 tests performed, nucleic acid test and antibody test. Number 5, leave the testing area. After I registered with the friendly bilingual staff, I was given these 2 vials. Then I proceeded to the first testing tent. There were 2 rows of 3 tents each. In the first row, the nurse administered the nucleic acid test, which checks to see if a person is currently infected with COVID-19. In the second row, the nurse administered the antibody test, which checks to see if a person had previously been infected. The nucleic acid test was pretty intense. It consisted of a nasopharyngeal swab and a throat swab. The nasopharyngeal swab is the one they stick up your nose. I have to say, it didn't hurt, but it felt really weird. I didn't know that something could safely be inserted that far back into your head. The antibody test was just a blood sample they took, no dramas there. Here is a panorama of the testing site.
Hey, partner.
Hey, good morning. Fine, how are you doing? Just doing a quick panorama, you're fine. Just want to remember what this place looked like, the process, the flow.
It's so well camouflaged though. How can you see it at all?
And here is a selfie with the really kind nurses who helped us get tested so quickly and easily. A funny cultural difference is that they didn't give us a Band-Aid and just gave us a cotton swab after the blood sample. I just had to stand there for 2 or 3 minutes until the needle puncture clotted. My girlfriend experienced the opposite difference when she gave blood in the States, wondering why they were wasting a Band-Aid on such a small puncture. Also, there were no Oreos, Cheez-Its, pizza, or orange juice present after we gave blood, so I treated myself to this deliciousness after we got back. The school paid for our tests. The results were processed the day of, and the school gave us the results the following day. This is what my negative test result looks like. 结果 means result, and 阴性 means negative. Excellent. A clean bill of health. And that was my COVID-19 testing experience. Now for some miscellaneous news. Today was the last day of classes, and tomorrow and Thursday are our students' final exams. I'll have to hustle this weekend to get everything graded for the Monday deadline, but the end is in sight. Starting July 15th, we'll have 6 weeks of summer vacation. In my next video, I'll take the camera out of my apartment and give you all a tour of my school. Dun, 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 dun. I can't wait to show you. It's a gorgeous campus. For most of my future videos, I'll try to do some outside filming so you guys can see more of China. Question of the day. Have you been tested for COVID-19? How was the experience? Or would you be willing to be tested? Please give this video a like and remember to leave any questions you have about my life in China or about China in general. 谢谢大家，我们下次再见. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.